Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about NOAHcon 2026. And you might say, what is NOAHcon? Well, NOAHcon is an albinism conference that they host every 2 years. If you're new to the channel, I'm a person with albinism, and I will link a video that kind of talks about what that is. But you've perhaps heard the word albino. Albinism is the condition that goes with that. They have a conference every 2 years, and we went 2 years ago. Lauren does not have albinism, but she went with me. She's my CNI person. And 2 years ago, when I was, when we first started talking about going, I have known about the conferences for a lot of years, and I was a little nervous about going and like what to expect and stuff. And I looked on YouTube to try to find maybe some videos of other people going or a little bit of an idea, what to expect. And I hadn't found as much as I was hoping for, so I decided 2 years ago to make videos about our experience as we went. And so those are there, and I'll link those too. But it's now conference time again, 2 years later, and now we're going again. And it's kind of interesting because the going into it thoughts are a little different than last time, because last time I personally was extremely nervous about it, not really having been around other people who have albinism in my life very much. So it was definitely something I was a little nervous about. And but now going into it this year, it's a whole lot different because I'm a whole lot more excited. And that's because there's been other connecting points that I've had in the last 2 years. But to give a bit of a what is the NOAH conference, first of all, NOAH is the name of their organization. It stands for National Organization of Albinism and Hypopigmentation. That's why we call it NOAH, because it's a mouthful. You can find them online at albinism.org. But they do this conference primarily to help people connect, because albinism is a very rare condition. So most people don't have other people in their life that have albinism. Perhaps, if they do, it's usually family members. But it's still pretty rare even there. And so it's an opportunity for people to connect with other people with albinism, to maybe gain insight, get advice. If you're a parent and you have a young child and you don't know what to expect, or if you are, a friend of somebody or what have you, and it gives an opportunity for even us, it gives us an opportunity to say, oh, what kind of resources are in your community? Maybe I should look in to see if that's in my community, or something like that. And so it's a really good opportunity. As the years have gone, they've been able to add more and more educational aspects into the conference. They have sessions where they have, they talk about research that's going on, or they talk about the science behind what it is, and like how to explain our vision and different things like that, to educate people, because there are a lot of people that come into the conference not really knowing a lot about their own condition, which is understandable, because I don't know. I think the only reason I knew as much as I did is because I think I had my vision teacher in school actually one time had me do a research paper on albinism. And I think that's the main reason I knew how much I knew, because I don't know if I would have ever thought like, oh, I should look this up and find out the science behind it or whatever. It is what it is. I am what I am. Last year, we were both kind of going into the conference a little bit apprehensive, just because it's a new experience. We flew across the country, meeting a whole bunch of people we'd never met before. There were 700 people at the conference last year.
That's a lot of new people.
It is. I don't remember if they ever said how many were specifically people with albinism or not.
I don't remember either.
I don't think they said specifically. But at any rate, it was definitely by the time I don't even know that we had finished the official, I think so the conference is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, and it starts officially in the evening on Thursday. And it's like the opening little like dinner thing, and they have like an orientation type thing, and actual conference activities don't really start until Friday. By Thursday night, we were already like, yeah, so next time when we come to the conference, blah blah blah. So it was definitely well worth it. But what are your thoughts going into this year compared to last time?
I know better what to expect this year. Last time I didn't really know because we didn't have a whole lot of information to go on. So this year I know I met some of the people last year, so looking forward to kind of reconnecting with them. And I don't know, it's going to be a good weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me as well. One of the reasons why I'm usually apprehensive about things like that is going into a new environment is just really overwhelming when you can't see, because then you're like, oh no, am I going to be able to find things and figure out where I'm going? I was not as concerned about it because she was going with me, because as I said, she's my eyes.
And
she's the eyes of the operation.
I probably felt a little extra pressure because I knew she was looking for me to see things, and I'm like, I have to see all the things. But yeah, I still miss things, and she still finds things sometimes that I don't.
Well, and it was interesting because I was anticipating a lot of like large signage and all this kind of stuff, but at the same time, you're still in a hotel that like is operated by somebody else. Like they're not going to change their signs, you know. Now they did have signs that they put up. It did take them a little bit to actually get all their signs up, but there were some signs that were up, and those were a little bit bigger. I remember
for the spaces that were pertinent to what we were doing with the conference.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your room number's the same size.
Mm-hmm. I remember they had for breakfast, they had like a buffet thing, and I think even for lunch they had these, but they had little signs on the little pole, and it was just really small font, and but that was because the hotel was setting that up, and obviously they're just going to do what they normally do, and I was just like, we're all like, what does that say? Like, does anybody know what this is? That's chicken. Okay, great. Like,
right.
So it definitely was a lot of like, it's gonna be a lot of unknown, but it also was kind of weird for me going into it because I have albinism, so I shouldn't feel like I'm like, I don't belong here, like I don't know these people, because like you go to the conference and people clearly know each other. There are people who've been going to these conferences for years, and they have created so many friends and relationships, and everyone talks about it's a community. And I remember, and I said this in the videos 2 years ago, and I was like, they talk about it being a community. I'm not quite there yet, because it's just like, whoa, hold on, what's going on? But it is, now that I'm 2 years later and have done other things with them, I do feel like I'm part of the community. And you can see that sense of community when you go to the conference and you see the way people interact when they see each other, and they're like, like their little groups move about the hotel together, and we had like, I don't 2 or 3 people, I think it was, that like came up to us and saw, because they usually on your name badge, which the name badge was nice large print, it was exciting. But they give you a little sticker for if you're a first time person.
Yeah.
And so that was helpful. But these 3 ladies saw me, saw that the thing said first time, and they were like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It was, they were like the little welcoming committee. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, it actually was kind of funny because they were like, oh, let's take a picture. And I was like, okay. And they told Lauren she couldn't be in the picture because she doesn't have albinism, which obviously she wasn't offended, but I was like, wow, that's a twist. Like,
right.
It's like, so that was kind of funny. But it was really good because they were just so excited that new people were coming, and you could tell that they were just excited to be together themselves, and they were just moving about together. I saw them throughout the conference together, and it was great. So this time, I like she said, we met some people. Now there's 2 other events, 2 other things, if you want to say, that NOAH does. that you can find information for on their website. But one is, they call it Connections, and it's basically monthly Zoom calls where you get together with, like, they have like adult connections, they have teen connections, young adults, older adults. So they kind of have, some subgroups so that you can find a group that's a little closer to your group of people, and they have these monthly Zoom things. They actually have other ones too, but they just get together and they usually have some sort of question of the day kind of a thing, and they talk about some fun subject just to like create conversation, and we spend an hour on Zoom once a month, and that has been really great because it's helped me to get to know some people in a smaller grouping.
Yeah.
And then on the years that are off of the conference, they have what they call Adult Weekend, and that is because the main conference is they have a kids conference that goes on at the same time, like from 9 to 3 or something like that. So then the if you want to say more meaty sessions happen during the daytime, but then all the kids are over here doing their thing, and they have activities, and they go on little field trips, and they have little whatever with them, and that way the parents can focus on going to sessions and stuff. And then in the evening they have funner session, like trivia games, things like that, that's still group activities, but something that's kind of for all ages, and and what have you. So the Adult Weekend, though, is focused on the adults. So it doesn't have a kid component to it. It does tend to be a lot smaller because it's, kind of geared towards, mostly geared towards the people with albinism, though they're not opposed to other people coming with you because they understand people don't necessarily feel comfortable traveling by themselves. So they don't have a problem with other people coming. But I actually ended up going to that by myself. And so it's the first time in a long time that I have traveled by myself, but I made it. I didn't get lost. And it was kind of fun because in the second leg of my trip, I ran into somebody who was also going to the conference. And so that was kind of fun. But that thing, it's called Adults with Albinism Weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it always happens the first weekend of October. That is geared towards like a more low-key get to know people. There are sessions, but they're not like intense. I mean, I make it sound like the main conference is like intense. It just like
less structured.
Yeah, a little bit. It's more it's more casual at the Adult Weekend. Yeah. And the way they have it set up, it's meant to be a lot more, make friends, get to know people. So at that one is really when I felt like I kind of connected with some people. I got phone numbers, and I've been texting with people, and building friendships and stuff. So that's going to be kind of fun because some of them I know are coming early to the conference, and I will be coming early as well. So we'll get to connect, and Lauren will get to meet some of those people a little bit more, because I think most of the people, or at least some of the people that are in the text group, we met at the first conference. We just didn't really meet them and like connect with them. So
right, or some of them I saw, but we didn't necessarily talk to.
Right. Yeah.
She may not have seen them, but I saw them.
Factual. Yeah. So this conference is in Columbus, Ohio. I think I actually saw online that it's like 45 days. I think today would be 44 days. Somebody in my text group sent a thing being like 45 days. And I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I knew it was less than two months away. So
it still feels like 2 months to me. There's just so much else happening between now and then.
Yes, there is a lot happening in our lives between now and then, for sure, which is good because it'll keep me busy, because I am like very excited about going, just because of the relationships and the fun. And when we went to the Adult Weekend, like I don't remember what the hours were. I calculated, I think I said over the course of the whole weekend, I got maybe a total of 12 hours of sleep.
Something. It wasn't much.
It wasn't much because I ran it hard, because I'm just like, we all had that mentality of, we'll sleep when we get home, because it's only Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You go home Sunday, and it's like, you only see each other in person once a year, I mean, we played large print Uno till midnight. Like half the group was out there, like old, young alike. Like, it didn't matter, we're just all just living it up.
Yep.
So, for people who maybe are thinking about going to the conference and are kind of like, should I go to the conference? Is it worth it? Because it is a little bit of a, it's a lot of money. Um, I want to kind of encourage you to for sure go. I just think that if you've not really experienced being around other people with albinism, this is an experience you should have. Particularly, I will say, particularly if you have a child with albinism, because I feel like I didn't go to the conferences when I was a kid. 2 years ago was the first time I went to anything out NOAA related. And I think some of the things it did for me was it helped me see albinism in a positive light. Because until you're around people where, because when you go into the conference, you're in this bubble. Mm-hmm. And there's so many other people with albinism, and they're all doing the same thing. We're all standing close to each other. We're all holding our phone close to our face. We're all like, what does that say? And it's so funny because we're all used to asking the people around us, like, what does that say? Because we're used to being the only one who can't see. And inevitably somebody will be like, hey, what does that say? And it's like, I don't know, I can't see it either. Like, oh yeah, I forgot you're blind too. But all these people have gotten over time more comfortable at their own situation, being comfortable in their own skin. You aren't the only one clumsily walking around not being able to see stuff. You're not the only one using your assistive technology, which, especially when you're a kid, it's so awkward to have to be singled out like that in the classroom or whatever, to be trying to just simply read the board, and it just makes you feel so like you stand out. You already get teased, picked on because you look different, your eyes do weird things, and you're the weird kid, and then so it's like albinism becomes very much a negative part of who you are, and it is kind of a big part of who you are. So going to the conference shows you that, like, it doesn't have to be a negative part. You can embrace it and have fun with it, because you see all these people. Because that was one of the things that I think I really like immediately noticed. I would see kids and I'm like, man, these kids are just like enjoying life, and I'm like, I was not comfortable in my own skin when I was a kid, and I'm like, this probably could have helped. But yeah, and I don't by any means like, am like, oh, my parents should have taken me to the conference. Not any means, because it is an expensive endeavor to try to do. So it's not an easy thing.
I think they do have maybe scholarship opportunities, or some financial aid of some sort. So if cost is the major hurdle, you can contact them, look at their website, and I think there's something there that can help.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. And I don't know that that's been a thing they've been able to do all the way through from way back in the day.
Probably
so, and it is tricky because if you have a whole family, but what's kind of cool is that what we've noticed is families will make this their family vacation, their yearly vacation. So like last year, 2 years ago, it was in Anaheim, California. So you're right next to Disney, and they offered discounted Disney tickets through the conference. Yeah. And so there were people who stayed for a few extra days and did some Disney stuff. So they can turn that into their family vacation for the year. And that helps a little bit because, a lot of times people spend money on that. So I just think that it's a really good experience for the kids to get to go. But even for adults, I think it's a great opportunity to connect with people. Because like I said, if you don't have other people in your life that have albinism, maybe, I've gotten a little bit more used to being me and having albinism, and I joke about being blind and, being extra pale and all this kind of stuff. So I have gotten, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more comfortable in my skin, but I think going to the conference really helped push that even further. And you don't realize it's going to happen until it does. You're like, wow, this is kind of cool. So what do you think, as a person who doesn't have albinism, what do you think were some of the benefits for you, Goat?
I think one of the big benefits for me was learning a little more of the science behind albinism. and how the eye is constructed, how it hasn't developed. Like you've told me some of the details, but it's so different. I'm not really into the medical field, so a lot of the terms and whatnot just kind of don't make a lot of sense, don't stick with me. So the educational sessions were really helpful for me. And also it was an interesting experience being in the minority.
Yeah, going last time we were like, oh, you're gonna have a hard time finding me. Now in the end, I think there was only one time that like you had to come find me.
Yeah, I think so.
So it wasn't quite as dramatic as we thought it would be.
No.
So maybe we'll probably actually have a little bit more of that this time, because there's one of the things that are happening is first thing in the morning is a coffee hour, and so she'll
I will be sleeping in.
I will be for sure going because I like coffee and I want more opportunity to hang out with people. And I'm a person that when I am at something like this, sleep is not really that much of a thing. Like I'm just like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Like I don't think I get as affected by not having enough sleep. I think you get a little bit more affected if you don't have enough sleep. So
yes. I need my sleep.
Yeah. So that works out well though, because I can get up and go do that because everything happens there at the hotel. So it's not like you have to travel or anything like that. And,
right.
The nice thing,
you can stay at a different hotel, but there are discounts for staying in the same conference hotel. So that's good to know.
Yeah. And it's nice because the activities they do have, they provide transportation for. Like that's part of whatever you pay for. If you pay for, there's plenty of things to do for free. There's a couple of activities here and there that cost a little bit. Like for instance, there's a painting thing, and so you're basically paying for your canvas. That one I think is only $12. But there's plenty of things to do for free. Mm-hmm. I think most of the things that cost money are like the pre-conference activities. We're going kayaking on Wednesday, which is going to be quite fun.
Yeah.
I've been kayaking before, but this will be, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see.
I don't know either. It's supposed to be adaptive activities, so I'm curious to see like what are they going to do different.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the kayaks themselves will be different.
Maybe
like if they'll be, I don't know. I imagine they'll have people there helping people get in and out, so that's a little bit easier, and because and I've successfully gone kayaking. It's not like it's not like, but it's definitely, you spend the whole time being like, oh boy, because it's like rocking. And so
I've done kayaking on a lake, so that was very calm water. So I don't know what this is if it's a lake or a river or
I don't know either.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I've done all my kayaking in a river. Just to kind of recap, just so that you maybe have an idea of how a conference could typically look. Well, I wouldn't say typically. I've only been to one. How the conference looked the last time. So we got there and we mentioned they have pre-conference activities, and those vary probably based on location, I would guess, what's available in that particular area. But we were close to Disneyland, so they had a pre-conference activity going in Disney Springs. So it was a scavenger hunt, so that was kind of fun. And then they had like the orientation where you collect all your things, because if you pay for or sign up for different events, they had like little paper bracelet things, so that you knew you had already signed up for this thing. And just information for you, your name badge, a booklet with the schedule. And they do have the schedule online too, but this gives you a paper copy that you have, and it's the most up-to-date one, kind of a thing. And then they have like a welcome little session with a little snack food. I don't remember if it was a full-on meal or if it was just more like snacks. We didn't know that it was going to involve food. I think it was called a welcome reception, which kind of implies food, but we weren't really sure. So we had eaten dinner, but I think in the end we were like, oh, okay, there was some food here. We probably could have gotten away with munching on that instead. So now we know.
Or we thought it was going to be a little bit, and there was actually a meal. I don't remember now.
Yeah, something like that.
It was different than we were expecting.
And so they introduce some people. They do have a first timers session where they introduce like the main head NOAA people. I don't remember what they call themselves, but they're the top dogs. So that you can get a little bit familiar with like, okay, who are some of these people? And they give you a little bit of good information of, explaining some things. I don't even honestly remember what all they told us, but it just gives you a little bit of like, here's some things that you maybe don't know, and you can, whatever. Here's people to ask questions to. And
I don't remember much from that session either. I think both our heads were kind of spinning a little bit.
Yeah. So, and then did they do an evening? They must have done something in the evening. Maybe that was just all they did. Oh, they had like another first timers connection session thing where there was only like 15 of us in the room or something. Because there was other groups going on, which is funny because one of the things they had going on was the adult connections and the teen connections, which, as I mentioned before, we didn't know what those were at the time, but now we know what they are. Yeah. That was the Zoom people were getting together in person. So I'm excited about that because now I know what it is and I'm part of that Zoom thing. So I'm excited to actually, hang out with everybody in person. So, because they try to have multiple things happening at one time.
Right.
So that you can kind of pick what thing you want to do. I don't remember what else they did that evening. That might have been all they really did that evening. Because you're in the hotel, so people then can break off and do their own thing. It's not like, and they're,
Check-in is through like 4:30 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's not like a lot of an evening left.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you do the first timer session and the welcome reception, there's not a lot of time left after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like some people traveled that day, so they, I think they try to make that first evening pretty low key so that people can get to bed, and especially if you had kids, kind of want to get everyone settled, and and then the next morning they did breakfast. Now each conference is going to be different as to whether they offer, what meals they offer, and what have you. That particular time, breakfast was included. Mm-hmm. I don't think breakfast is included in this one. I think lunch is included Thursday and Friday. Don't remember about Saturday. Probably Saturday too. I think not Thursday, that's what it is. Friday and Saturday.
And there was
a breakfast.
Dinner, I think.
Oh, was there a dinner?
I think there's a dinner involved, and then the final breakfast
brunch
on
thing.
Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's in like conference hotels, so there's restaurants on site, but you're also usually in the middle of like an area that you could go walk to or something like that and get food elsewhere too if you wanted to. But yeah, so we did breakfast, and then usually sessions started around 9. So we kind of went through the schedule and picked the things we wanted to do, so we knew. And most of the sessions are like an hour and a half or something. And an hour to an hour and a half, depended on the session.
Yeah, it varies.
I guess it was more like an hour. So like, because one of the sessions, I'm thinking about some of the sessions we went to. We went to one where they showed you pictures and kind of the educational, like she was saying, about the like how our eye works and why it is that our eyes don't work the way that they should, and why glasses don't correct them. And then there was one that was a really cool session because it was a lady talking about, she is a painter, and she was able to paint and depict what we see, like the lack of detail that we see. Mm-hmm. And I have used that, like I took pictures of that, and I have used that talking to people. When I came home, I was so excited to be able to show people and be like, this explains so much. Like, even I couldn't have described this, you know. It's like,
that was really neat.
Yeah, she had done like a portrait, and it was like, here's how little detail I see from this far away. And it's like, until the person was really this close, it's like you really couldn't see that much. And even then, I don't even remember how much detail that actually was or what have you. But I'm like, man, I really don't see well, because that explains a whole lot. Like, and so that was really helpful. We did, I went to a session that was about parents with adopted children with albinism. Now, I am a person that has albinism that was adopted. So I was like, oh, I'll go to that, because that seems like that could be really interesting. And I don't know, maybe I can provide some insight. I don't know. And so that was kind of a cool little niche group to, like, you know, see, be there, and you know, and it was kind of more about, like, the adopted side, the adoption side of it, more than the albinism side, but it was still cool.
It was kind of one of these somewhat unstructured.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it went a different direction than they were anticipating, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
still, it seemed like good conversation.
Yeah.
That the parents were able to kind of relate to each other and share their experiences. So that was good.
Yeah. And people asked me some questions. So that was pretty cool. We went to a session that was about, like, hitting middle age, and, you know, figuring out what you're going to do as you get older, and the needs that you might have. I'm trying to think about, there was on-site research, which was really cool, and they'll have some of that now. I mean, at this conference, where they were doing scans of your eye, and there was 2 research groups that had come in and were doing research. And so that was really neat to be able to be a part of that. And one was a genetic testing one, and they both did images of our eye, which was really kind of cool. And
some of those, the one research only you did, because it was only for folks with albinism. The other I was able to do, because they were like, we can have some non-albinism samples too. That'd be great. So I went ahead and did that one. So that was neat. We got our results back a couple weeks ago, and we're both kind of, like, not sure exactly what it means.
We're like, does anybody speak this language?
Eventually, we're going to track down somebody who can explain it to us.
Again, I think that because they just started being able to do this kind of research, we're kind of the ones creating the pool. So we're probably not going to, it's going to be some years before we really start getting, like, information through research on behalf of us, because they had to start somewhere. We are the beginning. So
that was also kind of neat to, like, be able to be kind of at the front of the research, just helping get that started.
Yeah, because I think something that they said was that a third of the population is a carrier for albinism.
Oh, really? I didn't remember that.
I didn't either, but I watched the last time's videos, and I said it there, so it must have happened. Because, you know, if it's on YouTube, it must have happened. I'm kidding. But yeah, they must have told us that like a third of the population is a carrier for it, but because albinism happens on the recessive genes, you have to have 2 recessive genes come together in order for a person to have it. But it happens on different parts of your DNA, different genes. So therefore, also, not only is it 2 recessive genes, but it has to be 2 recessive genes from the same gene. So you might be a carrier, your husband might be a carrier, but on a different gene or of a different form, and therefore neither one of you even know, because your child is not albino and you have no idea that you were a carrier. So I think it'd be really interesting to find out, like I think it'd be kind of funny to find out that you were a carrier for it or something.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
So,
I don't know of any albinism in my family, but I also don't know 150 years ago if they really understood what it was.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun to be able to do. I'm trying to think about what other, they had trivia nights, and Saturday they always have a silent auction to help raise money, because NOAH is actually a nonprofit. So they have a silent auction. People bring stuff that they have made or, painted, or sometimes it's things they've bought that they just are donating to be in the silent auction. And then they have a dance party, a dessert dance party, I think is what they call it. Just a fun, like, whatever. And it was a little loud for us. We were like, okay, we cannot even hear ourselves think. But, the energy in the room was definitely, people were just having a good time. And it's kind of that last hurrah, and then Sunday morning, they end with the closing brunch thing. And they announce where the next conference is going to be, which is always so much fun. It's really fun because they have a mascot. He's a bottle of sunscreen, and his name is Spiffy because he's got SPF written on him, so he's Spiffy. And it's kind of a lot of fun because he's the hype guy, and why not? He's wearing a pair of sunglasses. It's kind of funny.
And they've got a little choir that they did a number or two, so that was kind of neat.
Yep, I'm not gonna be doing it again this time. I'm already kind of like trying to guess what the song is going to be, because the theme this time is unlimited from the Wizard of Oz is the general theme. So I'm sure it will be one of those
likely
one of those songs from that soundtrack. But so if you are thinking of going, I think it's a great opportunity. If you have any specific questions, you can leave a comment down below. I can try to answer questions. If there's things that you're thinking about going and you want to know, like, hey, what's this like? We could potentially try to find that out, or, show you a little bit. Like I said, though, because the conference moves locations, it moves around the US so that it's, less expensive and a little bit more accessible. So some people just go when it's in their region or what have you. But because they're moving, there's things that are not cookie cutter. It's not like they're gonna have the same pre-conference activities, or they're not gonna have the same evening activities. So they're gonna do things a little differently depending on. But it seems like they usually have something from the local area that they offer some discounted tickets for. So that's something that can help, people will extend their trip and do some extra things. They offer discounted hotel, the hotel discounted price goes a few days before and a few days after the conference, so that people can do that as well.
I think that after, I guess it can be done anytime. Is it a science museum?
Yeah.
I think this year.
Yeah, there's 2 museums.
I think we hadn't decided yet if we're going to do it or not.
Yeah. I think one of them might... I'm trying to remember if one of them was free. Maybe they both cost money. I don't remember. Maybe I'm just thinking one of them is a little bit more kid-oriented or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember for sure.
But the information is on the website.
Yes.
And the website is...
albinism.org.
There you go.
That is our going into the conference. We'll try to take some videos as the conference is going on and try to get a bit of, our real-time reactions, which was very helpful last time because you forget a lot of the details if you wait till you get home. And I actually really enjoyed going back and watching the old videos because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, So hopefully this gives you a little bit of idea of what the conference will be like, and it'll help you decide whether or not to go. And this year's conference is in Columbus, Ohio. So that will be great, and hope to see you there.